Silent breakthrough. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation window of the Quantum Research Complex, watching snow fall on the Rocky Mountains. The facility, buried deep within the mountain range, housed humanity's most ambitious scientific project. Her reflection showed dark circles under her eyes. She hadn't slept properly in days, not since the first anomalous readings appeared. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this." Marcus Wong, her lead researcher, called from the main lab. His voice carried an urgency that made Sarah turn immediately. The quantum containment chamber dominated the center of the lab, its crystalline structure pulsing with a soft blue light. Around it, holographic displays showed streams of data that shouldn't have been possible. Sarah's hands trembled as she reviewed the numbers. "Run it again," she ordered, though she already knew the result would be the same. The quantum particles weren't just tunneling through space. They were creating stable pathways, defying everything the galactic scientific community claimed was possible. Marcus initiated another test sequence. "This is the 15th run, Dr. Chen. The results are consistent. We've achieved stable quantum tunneling at macroscopic scales." Sarah watched the particles dance through impossible spaces, creating corridors through reality itself. The Alderan Collective, the dominant federation of spacefaring species, had always maintained that such technology was centuries beyond human capability. They'd shared their advanced quantum physics with Earth, carefully controlled knowledge that kept humanity dependent on their guidance. But they'd underestimated human ingenuity. "Send word to Defense Command," Sarah said quietly. "Classification level Omega." And Marcus, "Delete all connected systems from the public network." As of this moment, we're dark. The implications of their discovery were staggering. Stable quantum tunneling meant instantaneous transportation across any distance. It meant shields that could phase matter out of normal spacetime. It meant humanity had just shattered the technological barriers the collective had placed around them. Hours later, Sarah sat in her office, composing her report for Earth's Defense Council. The facility had gone into complete lockdown, with quantum scramblers active to hide their work from the collective's monitoring systems. She knew they had limited time before the aliens realized something was happening on Earth. A soft chime announced a priority message. Admiral James Torres's hologram appeared on her desk, his dark features tense. "Dr. Chen, I've reviewed your preliminary data. Are you absolutely certain?" "Yes, Admiral. We've confirmed it from every angle. The quantum tunneling is stable, reproducible, and scalable. We can begin practical applications within months, not years." The Admiral's image flickered as he leaned forward. "The Collective Scientific Council has maintained for centuries that this technology is impossible without their guidance. They've used this belief to control younger species development across the galaxy." "They were wrong," Sarah stated simply. "Or they were lying. Either way, humanity has broken through their barriers." The political implications. Torres trailed off, shaking his head. "The Collective's entire power structure is built on technological superiority. If word gets out that humans have achieved this independently, they'll try to stop us," Sarah finished. "They'll claim we're too young, too immature to handle this level of technology. They might even try to forcibly contain us. Then we need to be ready." Torres's expression hardened. "I'm implementing Protocol Shadow. Your facility is now under direct military protection. We're mobilizing our hidden fleet assets. The Collective's observers in the solar system will be quietly contained." Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Humanity had spent decades playing the role of an obedient student species, all while preparing for this moment. Their ships, their weapons, their defenses, all hiding capabilities that the Collective thought impossible. "There's something else, Admiral," Sarah said, pulling up new data streams. "The quantum tunneling effect. We think it can be used to hide entire planets from sensors. If we can scale it up fast enough, we could make Earth itself vanish from their scans." Torres finished, his eyes widening. "How long?" 2 weeks, maybe 3. We'll need to coordinate with teams globally, but the principles are sound. Do it. I'll have Defense Command send you everything you need. If the collective decides to move against us, being able to hide our homeworld would give us a crucial advantage. After the Admiral's hologram faded, Sarah walked back to the lab. Her team was still working, pushing themselves to understand every aspect of their breakthrough. They were all aware of the magnitude of what they'd achieved, and the dangers that came with it. Through the observation window, she could see the quantum containment chamber continuing its impossible dance. Humanity had just changed everything, and there would be no going back. The collective would soon discover that their careful plans to keep humanity dependent and controlled had failed. Marcus appeared at her side, offering a cup of coffee. The military teams are arriving. They're setting up additional security perimeters and quantum dampening fields. Good. Sarah took a sip, gathering her thoughts. Have you heard from your family? They're being evacuated to the backup facility in Australia, along with the other researchers' families. Military's not taking any chances. Sarah nodded. The collective had a history of using diplomatic pressure against the families of scientists who developed technologies they didn't approve of. Humanity had learned from other species' mistakes. Dr. Chen, a young researcher, called out, "We're detecting unusual quantum scanning patterns from the collective's observation post on Luna. They might be starting to suspect something." "Let them scan," Sarah replied calmly. "Our countermeasures are holding. They'll see exactly what we want them to see, a normal research facility conducting approved experiments." She turned back to the window, watching the snowfall outside. Somewhere up there, the collective's representatives were going about their daily routines, confident in their superiority, unaware that humanity had just changed the rules of the game. The next few weeks would determine humanity's future in the galaxy. They would either emerge as equals, free to develop their own path, or face the collective's attempt to force them back into submission. Either way, the careful balance of power that had existed for centuries was about to shatter. Sarah Chen smiled, thinking of all the times collective scientists had patronizingly explained the impossibility of what she'd just achieved. Humanity had played the long game, appearing to accept their limitations while quietly pushing beyond them. Now it was time to show the galaxy what humans could really do. The quantum containment chamber pulsed steadily behind her, each flash representing another crack in the collective's carefully maintained order. The storm was coming, and humanity was ready. Echoes of warning. High Observer Clyrix moved through the curved corridors of the lunar observation post, his crystalline body catching the artificial light. Something was wrong. After 3 centuries of monitoring human technological development, he had developed an instinct for detecting anomalies. The quantum readings from Earth had changed subtly over the past week, showing patterns that shouldn't exist in a Level 3 civilization. "Show me the latest scans," he commanded, entering the monitoring chamber. The holographic display activated, showing a 3-dimensional map of Earth's quantum activities. Everything appeared normal on the surface: the expected signals from approved research facilities, the standard communication patterns, the regulated energy signatures. Too normal. Analysis complete, High Observer, his assistant, Tilara, reported. Her bioluminescent patches pulsed with concern. All readings match established parameters for human development. Exactly. Clyrix's crystalline structure vibrated with frustration. When was the last time humans matched parameters perfectly? They're always pushing boundaries, testing limits. This compliance is artificial. He focused the sensors on the Rocky Mountain region, where the strongest anomalies had appeared briefly before vanishing. The humans had built a research facility there years ago, with the collective's approval. Its purpose was supposedly to study basic quantum mechanics, nothing that could threaten the established order. "Contact the facility," he ordered. "Request an immediate inspection under Article 7 of the Development Treaties." Tilara's bioluminescence flickered. "High Observer, the human response just arrived. They're citing security protocols and requesting a 48-hour delay." Clyrix's crystalline form darkened. In 300 years, no human facility had ever delayed a collective inspection. They were hiding something. He activated his direct link to the Galactic Council. Emergency priority message. Human quantum signature patterns showing suspicious regularities. Request immediate authorization for intervention protocols. The response came quickly. Authorization granted. Containment fleet already en route. Maintain observation. Prevent technology transfer at all costs. Across the solar system, hidden collective warships began moving into position. They had prepared for this possibility for centuries. The chance that humanity might break free of their carefully maintained restrictions. No young species could be allowed to advance beyond the collective's control. On Earth, in a secured command center deep beneath the Pentagon, Admiral Torres watched the collective ship's movements on a quantum-encrypted display. Their attempts at stealth were obvious to Earth's new sensors. "Status report," he commanded. Colonel Sarah Rodriguez, head of Earth's Counterintelligence Division, stepped forward. "The collective is positioning ships in standard containment formation, sir, exactly as Dr. Chen predicted they would. They're using their standard playbook for handling rebellious young species." Torres allowed himself a grim smile. The collective's predictability was their greatest weakness. They had used the same tactics for millennia, never expecting their carefully controlled subordinate species to develop countermeasures. "And our preparations. Phase 1 complete, sir. All critical facilities and personnel are under quantum camouflage. The collective sensors are seeing exactly what we want them to see. Dr. Chen's team has successfully masked our real quantum signatures." The Admiral nodded, studying the tactical display. Red dots showed collective vessels taking up positions around Earth and its colonies. They thought they were being subtle, using stealth systems that no Level 3 civilization should be able to detect. "Message from Dr. Chen, sir," an aide reported. "Project Eclipse is ahead of schedule. They can begin planetary quantum masking within 6 hours." That was sooner than expected. Once Earth could hide its entire quantum signature, the collective would lose their ability to monitor human technological development. But the sudden disappearance of Earth's quantum presence would also confirm their worst fears. "Tell Dr. Chen to wait," Torres ordered. "Let's see how the collective reacts to our inspection delay first. We need them to commit to their standard containment procedure before we show our full capabilities." On the lunar surface, High Observer Clarix received another disturbing report. The quantum signatures from Mars colony had also become suspiciously regular. Then Titan base. Then the asteroid mining operations in the belt. The pattern of perfect compliance was spreading. "They're hiding something massive," he muttered, his crystalline form resonating with anxiety. "Something that violates all development protocols." "High Observer," Tilara interrupted, her bioluminescence pulsing rapidly. "We're detecting unusual energy readings from Earth's orbital defense platforms." Clarix examined the data and felt his crystalline structure freeze in shock. The platforms were exhibiting quantum field characteristics that should have been impossible for human technology. For a moment, just a fraction of a second, he detected an energy signature that matched classified collective military systems. "Impossible," he whispered. "They can't have." He quickly composed another message to the Council. "Emergency update. Evidence suggests humans have developed independent quantum field manipulation capabilities. Recommend immediate intervention before situation becomes uncontainable." The Council's response was immediate and unprecedented. "Full containment authorized. Collective fleet will arrive in 23 hours. Prepare for emergency protocols." Clarix had never seen the Council move so quickly. In all his centuries of service, they had always favored careful deliberation over hasty action. The implications were clear. They were terrified of what humanity might have achieved. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen worked with her team to fine-tune the planetary quantum masking system. The network of quantum tunneling devices had been secretly installed around the globe over the past 5 years, disguised as ordinary communication infrastructure. "Final calibration complete," Marcus reported. We can cloak the entire planet whenever command gives the order. Sarah nodded, watching the test patterns on her display. The system would do more than just hide Earth. It would present false quantum signatures, making the planet appear exactly as the collective expected it to appear. They would see what they wanted to see, a properly restricted Level 3 civilization. Message from Admiral Torres, Marcus said. The collective's main fleet has begun moving. Over 300 vessels, including their latest dreadnoughts. They're not bothering to hide anymore. Sarah felt a mix of tension and anticipation. The collective was reacting exactly as predicted, following their standard procedures for dealing with species that developed beyond their assigned level. They would attempt to overwhelm Earth with a show of force, demanding submission and the surrender of all advanced technology. They had no idea what they were walking into. Dr. Chen, a young researcher, called out, "We're detecting quantum scanning beams from the lunar base. They're trying to penetrate our masking field." "Let them try," Sarah replied calmly. "Our countermeasures are generations ahead of their scanning technology. They're using tools we learned to block years ago." The quantum containment chamber hummed steadily, its blue light a reminder of how far humanity had come. While the collective had focused on maintaining their technological superiority, humanity had quietly leapfrogged past their restrictions. "Admiral Torres is calling an emergency meeting of the Defense Council," Marcus reported. "The collective fleet will be here in less than a day. We need to decide whether to reveal our true capabilities or maintain the deception." Sarah looked at the tactical display, watching the massive alien fleet approach. The collective had grown complacent over millennia of unchallenged dominance. They assumed their technology was the pinnacle of achievement, that their understanding of quantum physics was complete. They were about to learn how dangerous assumptions could be. In his lunar observatory, High Observer Clerix felt the first tremors of doubt. The humans were too calm, too prepared. Their facilities were too perfectly shielded, their responses too precisely calculated. This didn't feel like the desperate resistance of a young species caught developing forbidden technology. It felt like a trap. But it was too late to warn the Council. The containment fleet was committed, and the protocols were clear. The collective would attempt to force humanity back into compliance, using overwhelming military power if necessary. As the snow continued to fall on the Rocky Mountains, humanity prepared to show the galaxy that the age of collective dominance was over. The quantum tunneling technology was just the beginning, the tip of an iceberg of hidden human advancement that was about to reshape the balance of power among the stars. Diplomatic dance. Ambassador Marcus Rodriguez stood before the massive doors of the collective assembly chamber, straightening his dark blue diplomatic uniform. Around him, representatives of 100 alien species hurried past, their voices a cacophony of worried whispers and angry clicks. In his 20 years as Earth's chief diplomat to the collective, he had never seen the assembly so agitated. "They're ready for you, Ambassador," his aide, Diana Chen, whispered. No relation to Dr. Sarah Chen, but the coincidence had proven useful in spreading misinformation among the collective's intelligence networks. Marcus nodded, his face carefully neutral as the doors swung open. The assembly chamber was a testament to the collective's power. A vast amphitheater floating in space, its transparent walls showing the star-filled void beyond. The representatives sat in ascending rings, their bodies representing every form of intelligent life known to the galaxy. At the center of the chamber, the High Council waited. 7 beings who had guided the collective's policies for centuries, including the careful control of younger species' technological development. Their leader, Supreme Counselor Vextara, fixed Marcus with all 4 of her eyes. Ambassador Rodriguez, her translator, conveyed her harmonic speech perfectly. "You know why you have been summoned." Marcus stepped onto the speaker's platform, feeling hundreds of alien eyes upon him. "The collective appears concerned about Earth's scientific research. We are happy to address any specific questions." Specific questions. Counselor Zurich, a being of pure energy contained in a crystalline matrix, flared brightly. Your species has violated every development protocol. Our sensors detect quantum manipulation far beyond your authorized level. Marcus allowed a look of polite confusion to cross his face. The collective's own inspectors have certified all our research facilities. We operate fully within established guidelines. Deception. The word rang out from the Praxian representative, his scaled skin flushing orange with anger. High Observer Clarix reports impossible quantum signatures from Earth. You are hiding advanced technology. And if we were? Marcus's quiet question brought sudden silence to the chamber. Where in our treaties does it forbid independent scientific advancement? Supreme Counselor Vexterra leaned forward. The development protocols exist to protect younger species from acquiring technology they are not ready to handle responsibly. Protect? Marcus raised an eyebrow. Or control? Gasps and angry mutters filled the chamber. No one spoke to the council this way, least of all a representative of a Level 3 civilization. In his hidden earpiece, Marcus heard Admiral Torres's voice. Collective fleet approaching outer defense perimeter. Quantum signatures detected from their weapon systems. They're not bluffing. Ambassador. Vexterra's voice carried a dangerous edge. Humanity exists in space because we allowed it. We uplifted you, guided you, protected you. Your species is barely out of its cultural infancy. And yet, Marcus replied calmly, you fear what we might have achieved. The chamber erupted in shouts and accusations. Marcus stood quietly, watching the council's reaction. Their composed facade was cracking, showing the fear beneath. Humanity's apparent technological leap threatened everything they had built. We fear what your reckless advancement might do to the galaxy's stability. Counselor Zurich pulsed angrily. Your species lacks the wisdom to handle quantum manipulation safely. Marcus's earpiece crackled again. Dr. Chen reports Project Eclipse is ready. Planetary quantum masking can be activated on your signal. The ambassador studied the assembled representatives, noting how many seemed more curious than angry. The younger species especially watched with barely concealed interest. If humanity had broken free of the collective's restrictions. The collective's guidance has been appreciated, Marcus said carefully, choosing each word with precision. But humanity has outgrown the need for oversight. We are prepared to take our place as equals in the galactic community. Equals. Vexterra's translator couldn't fully convey her tone, but her body language showed clear disdain. Your species still fights among itself. You've barely colonized your own solar system. You are children playing with forces you cannot comprehend. In his earpiece, collective fleet deploying in attack formation. Their quantum weapons are powered up. Marcus straightened his shoulders. If we are children who have learned to think for ourselves. The time of the collective dictating humanity's development is over. You leave us no choice, Vexterra signaled to her fellow council members. By emergency protocol, the collective hereby demands Earth's immediate surrender of all quantum technology. Our fleet stands ready to enforce compliance. Now came the moment of truth. Marcus touched his sleeve, sending the predetermined signal to Earth's Defense Command. Across the solar system, hidden quantum systems activated, revealing capabilities that would shatter the collective's illusion of superiority. The collective is not in a position to make demands, Marcus stated firmly. Look at your sensors. Really look. Confusion spread through the chamber as representatives checked their data feeds. According to their instruments, Earth had vanished. Not just Earth. Every human settlement in the solar system had disappeared from quantum detection. Impossible. Zurich flared with shock. An entire planet cannot. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. You seem very certain about what is and isn't possible. The collective has maintained that certainty for centuries, using it to keep younger species dependent. But humanity has moved beyond your artificial limitations. Vexterra's 4 eyes blinked rapidly as she processed this demonstration of power. You hide this capability until now, while pretending to accept our guidance. We learned from history, Marcus replied. Every species that openly challenged the collective's authority was immediately contained. So we waited, developed in secret, prepared for this moment. Your fleet can no longer track our worlds. Your weapons cannot target what they cannot detect. The chamber had fallen completely silent. Representatives of younger species whispered among themselves, their own carefully hidden resentments of collective control bubbling to the surface. "This is your only warning," Marcus continued, his voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. "Any hostile action against Earth or its colonies will be met with force. We possess capabilities you haven't even imagined, and we are prepared to use them. You would threaten the collective." Vexterra's voice shook with rage and fear, the combined might of 1,000 species. "No threat," Marcus corrected. "A statement of fact. The old order is ending. Humanity will no longer accept second-class status in the galaxy. The choice is yours. Adapt to a new reality, or learn firsthand just how far beyond your restrictions we've advanced." As if to emphasize his point, quantum sensors across the chamber detected massive energy signatures appearing and disappearing around the collective fleet. Human ships phasing in and out of normal space, demonstrating technology that should have been impossible. The message was clear. The containment fleet wasn't there to trap humanity. They were the ones in danger of being contained. Marcus waited patiently as the council members conferred among themselves, their private communications channel humming with urgent discussion. He knew this was just the beginning. The collective would not easily accept the loss of control over humanity's development, but that was no longer their choice to make. Humanity had stepped out of the shadows, revealing strength that had been carefully hidden for decades. The galaxy was about to change, whether the collective approved or not. Breaking point. Fleet Admiral Maya Santos stood on the bridge of the EDS Prometheus, watching the collective armada through quantum-enhanced sensors. Their ships filled local space, massive dreadnoughts, sleek cruisers, and swarms of smaller vessels, all positioning themselves for what they thought would be a simple containment action. They still hadn't realized that their sensors couldn't detect most of Earth's fleet. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Captain David Chen announced from his tactical station. "Quantum phase generators at full power. The collective fleet remains unaware of our true positions." Maya nodded, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical display. The collective had deployed in a standard sphere formation around Earth's orbital plane, following battle plans that hadn't changed in centuries. Their arrogance was about to cost them dearly. "Message from the collective flagship," Communications Officer Park reported. "They're demanding our immediate surrender and the deactivation of all quantum masking systems." "No response needed," Maya ordered. "Let them think their communications are being blocked by our quantum fields." She turned to her tactical officer. "Status of their weapon systems. Standard quantum disruptors, gravitic cannons, and phase torpedoes," David reported. "All designs we've already developed countermeasures for. They're powering up, but their targeting systems can't lock onto our quantum-shifted vessels." In her command chair, Maya allowed herself a grim smile. The collective had grown complacent, relying on the same weapons and tactics that had kept them dominant for millennia. They had never faced an opponent who had spent decades specifically preparing to counter their technology. "Message from Earth Defense Command," Park announced. "Ambassador Rodriguez has left the assembly. We are cleared to proceed with Phase 3. This was it, the moment humanity had prepared for over 20 years. Maya opened a quantum-encrypted channel to all Earth forces. "All ships, this is Fleet Admiral Santos. The collective has chosen to respond to our independence with military force. They believe their technological superiority makes victory inevitable. It's time to show them how wrong they are. Execute Operation Checkmate." Across the solar system, hidden human vessels began to move. Ships equipped with technology the collective had deemed impossible for humanity to develop emerged from quantum-shifted space. The Prometheus led the way, its advanced systems making it appear to be in multiple locations simultaneously. On the collective flagship, Supreme Commander Karketh watched in growing horror as his sensor arrays detected impossible readings. Where there had been empty space moments before, hundreds of human warships now appeared. Their energy signatures were unlike anything in collective records. "Impossible," he whispered, his crystalline form vibrating with stress. "Their ships are using quantum manipulation technologies beyond even our theoretical models." "Supreme Commander," his sensor officer called out, "the human vessels are generating quantum field patterns we cannot track. Our targeting systems are unable to establish locks." Sarketh felt fear for the first time in his centuries-long career. The humans weren't just matching collective technology. They had surpassed it, while his people had stagnated, believing themselves at the pinnacle of development. Humanity had pushed the boundaries of what was possible. "Launch fighters," he ordered. "All ships, commence firing with wide dispersion patterns. They cannot hide everything from our sensors." The space around Earth lit up as thousands of collective energy weapons fired. Beams of coherent light and quantum disruption fields filled the void, seeking targets that seemed to shift in and out of normal spacetime. Aboard the Prometheus, Maya watched the collective's attack with professional interest. "Status of our quantum shields." "Holding steady, Admiral," David reported. "Their weapons are based on principles we mastered years ago. Our quantum phase generators are shifting our ships faster than their targeting systems can adjust." "Execute attack pattern Delta," Maya ordered. "Show them what humanity can really do." The Earth fleet moved with practiced precision, their formations impossible according to conventional physics. Ships phase shifted through space, appearing inside the collective's defensive screens. Advanced quantum weapons, developed in secret and tested in hidden facilities, struck with surgical precision. Collective vessels found their quantum cores suddenly out of phase with their containment fields. Gravitic drives ceased functioning as human weapons manipulated the fabric of spacetime itself. Ships that had been pride of the collective fleet were rendered helpless by technology they had thought impossible. "Multiple collective vessels disabled, Admiral," David reported with satisfaction. "Their quantum cores are offline. No casualties, just as planned." Maya nodded in approval. Earth's weapons had been specifically designed to disable rather than destroy. They wanted to demonstrate their superiority without causing unnecessary deaths. The psychological impact would be far greater. On his flagship, Sarketh watched in despair as his fleet was systematically neutralized. The humans were targeting their quantum cores with precision that should have been impossible, using principles of physics that violated everything the collective thought they knew. "Supreme Commander," his communications officer called out, "we're receiving distress calls from our entire fleet. Human weapons are bypassing our defensive screens as if they don't exist. Order all ships to fall back," Sarketh commanded, his crystalline form dark with shock. "We cannot fight an enemy we cannot understand." He turned to his communications officer. "Send word to the Council. The humans, they are beyond our ability to contain." The retreat was as chaotic as it was unprecedented. For the first time in recorded history, a collective containment fleet was forced to withdraw. Their mighty ships, supposedly the most advanced in the galaxy, fled from human vessels that seemed to ignore the laws of physics themselves. Admiral Santos watched the collective fleet retreat, their formation broken, their confidence shattered. "Stand down to Condition 2, she ordered. "Maintain quantum shields but power down weapons. Let them run." "Message from Earth Defense Command," Park reported. "Dr. Chen reports that the quantum masking system performed perfectly. The collective never detected our planetary defense grid." Maya smiled, remembering all the years of preparation, the careful hiding of humanity's true capabilities. The collective had believed their monitoring systems infallible, never realizing that humans had learned to deceive them decades ago. "Admiral," David called out, "we're detecting quantum communications from the retreating collective fleet. They're sending detailed reports of our capabilities to their council." "Good," Maya replied. "Let them see what they're dealing with. The age of collective dominance is over." She turned to her bridge crew, pride evident in her voice. "Today, Humanity has proven that we will not be contained or controlled. We have earned our place among the stars. The Prometheus's quantum sensors tracked the collective fleet as it fled toward the outer solar system. Their once proud ships, now humbled by human technology, were broadcasting on all frequencies, warning other collective forces to stay away from Earth. In her command chair, Maya thought about how this day would be remembered, the moment when humanity stepped out of the shadows, revealing strength that had been hidden for generations. The collective would never again see humans as their technological inferiors. Message from Ambassador Rodriguez, Park announced. The Galactic Council is calling for an emergency session. They're requesting human representatives to attend, as equals. A cheer went up from the bridge crew. It was just the beginning. The galaxy's power structure had been irreversibly changed. Humanity had proven that they would not be bound by the collective's artificial limitations. The quantum stars streaked past the Prometheus's viewports, their light distorted by the ship's advanced drive systems. Humanity had claimed its place among them, not through brute force, but through innovation, dedication, and the carefully planned revelation of power that had been hidden in plain sight. The age of human containment was over. A new era of galactic politics was about to begin. New Dawn. 1 month after the Battle of Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the Grand Hall of the Collective Assembly, watching alien diplomats hurry past. The massive chamber had been redesigned, its rising tiers now arranged in circles rather than hierarchical levels. It was a small but symbolic change. Species would now meet as equals, not arranged by their technological development level. Quite a change from the last time I was here, Ambassador Rodriguez said, joining her at the observation window. Beyond the transparent walls, Earth's new quantum-powered ships patrolled openly, their advanced technology no longer hidden. The collective's entire power structure was built on technological superiority. Sarah replied, watching a group of younger species representatives studying the human quantum drive demonstration. Once we proved their superiority was an illusion, everything changed. The past month had seen a complete restructuring of galactic politics. After the collective fleet's humiliating retreat, dozens of species had come forward with their own hidden technological advances. The collective's careful system of control was crumbling. Dr. Chen, a melodious voice called out. Sarah turned to see Supreme Counselor Vexterra approaching, her 4 eyes showing a new respect that hadn't been there before. The Technical Exchange Committee is ready for your presentation. Sarah nodded, gathering her materials. The committee was another new addition, a forum where species could share technological innovations openly, without the collective's artificial restrictions. She followed Vexterra to a smaller chamber where representatives from 20 species waited. Before we begin, Vexterra announced, I must formally acknowledge humanity's contribution to galactic development. Your species has shown us that our assumptions about technological progress were flawed. Sarah activated her quantum projector, displaying complex equations in the air. What I'm about to share goes beyond quantum tunneling. While the collective focused on controlling existing technology, humanity explored entirely new principles of physics. The alien scientists watched in fascination as she explained concepts that violated their most basic assumptions about reality. Some took notes frantically, others sat in stunned silence. The Prexian representative, whose people had once sneered at human science, was recording every word. Meanwhile, in Earth's orbital shipyards, Admiral Santos supervised the construction of humanity's first official diplomatic vessels. Unlike their warships, these craft would display their advanced technology openly, serving as floating embassies throughout the galaxy. The quantum core installation is complete, Admiral, Captain Chen reported, his hologram floating beside her. The collective engineers are quite impressed. Maya smiled, remembering the collective fleet's shock when they realized how far humans had advanced. Have they accepted our offer to help upgrade their defensive systems? Most have, David confirmed. After we demonstrated our quantum shielding technology, even the most conservative council members had to admit their systems were obsolete. The Admiral watched construction drones swarm around the massive ships, their quantum-enhanced systems assembling structures that the collective had thought impossible for humanity to build. The galaxy was changing faster than anyone had expected. In the diplomatic corps headquarters in Geneva, Marcus Rodriguez met with representatives from the newly formed Alliance of Independent Species. The organization had emerged from younger species inspired by Earth's example, determined to chart their own technological development. Earth's stand against the collective proved it could be done. The Centaurian delegate declared, her crystalline form glowing with excitement, "We no longer have to accept artificial limitations on our progress." But progress brings responsibility, Marcus cautioned. Earth spent decades preparing not just technology, but ethical frameworks for its use. We need to ensure all species develop responsibly. The meeting was interrupted by breaking news. Another species had revealed hidden quantum technology. The Arcturus Collective, long thought to be technological primitives, had demonstrated advanced gravitational control systems. The galactic balance of power shifted again. Back in the assembly chamber, Sarah watched the news spread through the gathered diplomats. The collective's representatives looked increasingly uncomfortable as more of their carefully maintained facade crumbled. "They still don't understand," a familiar voice said. Sarah turned to see High Observer Clyrix, the crystalline alien who had first detected Earth's quantum anomalies. The collective's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating human technology. It was underestimating human determination. Sarah studied the former observer, noting how his crystalline structure had changed color, a sign of deep philosophical transformation in his species. "You saw it coming, didn't you? That's why your reports were so urgent." "I observed humanity for 3 centuries, Clyrix replied. "I watched your people face challenges, adapt, innovate. The collective thought they were controlling your development, but you were learning from every restriction they placed on you." Their conversation was interrupted by a priority announcement. The Galactic Council had formally dissolved its Development Control Authority, the organization that had restricted technological advancement for millennia. In its place, they proposed a new galactic scientific coalition, where all species would share knowledge freely. "They're adapting faster than expected," Marcus observed, joining them at the window. "A month ago, they were threatening to contain Earth by force. Now they're championing open scientific exchange." "They had no choice," Sarah replied. "Once we proved their technological superiority was a myth, their only options were to adapt or become irrelevant." Outside the window, a human quantum ship demonstrated its phase-shifting technology, smoothly transitioning between normal space and quantum-shifted states. Alien observers recorded every detail, their own scientists already theorizing how to replicate and improve upon the technology. "Message from Dr. Porter's team," Marcus announced, checking his quantum communicator. "The first joint human-alien research project has made a breakthrough. They've discovered an entirely new quantum effect." Sarah smiled, remembering her own breakthrough that had started all this. That's how progress should work, species working together, building on each other's discoveries, not artificially restricting development. The assembly chamber grew quiet as Supreme Counselor Vexterra took the central platform. Her 4 eyes surveyed the gathered representatives before she spoke. "For millennia, the collective maintained order through control. We believed we were protecting younger species from technologies they weren't ready to handle. Earth has shown us the cost of that arrogance." She gestured to the human ships visible through the chamber's walls. Humanity did not just develop advanced technology. They developed it responsibly, ethically, and in secret while under our surveillance. They proved that species can advance without our guidance. The chamber erupted in approval, particularly from the younger species representatives. The old order was truly ending, replaced by something new and unprecedented. Later, as Sarah prepared to return to Earth, she found herself back at the observation window. The view of space was different now, filled with ships of all species, their quantum drives glowing as they moved freely through the galaxy. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Marcus joined her, looking out at the changed galaxy. A month ago, humans had to hide their true capabilities. Now every species is sharing technology openly. Sarah nodded, thinking of all the years of secret development, the careful hiding of humanity's true progress. We did more than break free of their control. We showed every species that it was possible to advance on their own terms. Through the quantum-enhanced window, they could see Earth in the distance, its quantum masking systems now deactivated. Humanity had stepped out of the shadows, revealing strength that had been hidden for generations. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of collective control was over, replaced by an era of open exchange and mutual respect. Humanity had not just earned its place among the stars, they had fundamentally changed how species interacted with each other. As Sarah's quantum-enhanced shuttle prepared for departure, she looked back at the assembly station. The collective symbol had been replaced by a new one, a spiral galaxy with all species represented equally. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in galactic history, it would be shaped by all species working together, not just a select few claiming superiority. Humanity had shown the way, and the galaxy had followed. A new dawn had truly begun.